Hi, I'm Lee Iridium. I hope you're doing all right today. I've got an album review for you. So Jeff Scott Soto, the Duets Collection, Volume 1. So, Frontiers. Obviously, Jeff's signed to Frontiers. I don't know if he's with all his stuff now, but this is a Frontiers release coming out on the 8th of October. So, thanks once again to Frontiers for sending me a promo for this, for me to listen to and review. I honestly will never get over the fact that I get new releases sent to me. It's just amazing. So thanks for that, Frontiers. Now, let me run you through the musicians first and what they do on this album. So you've got, obviously, Jeff is on the vocals with his duet in with a lot of brilliant vocalists throughout this album. But the band Jeff is using, I think he works for them all the time, is George Salan on the guitar, Howie Simon on the guitar, and Leo Mancini on the guitar. So he's got 3 guitarists. I think they're being used sporadically throughout the album. I don't think they're used all on one song or anything like that. And they do a fucking amazing job here because they're covering stuff from Jeff's past material, which includes Yngwie Malmsteen. You know, one is a song from when he was with Yngwie Malmsteen. All the other bands, you know, Talisman, and there's some great guitar work on this album. I've got to say one thing though. I started liking Jeff Scott Soto when I first heard the first Wet album. That's when I knew he was around as a musician and a great vocalist. But I started listening to him properly when the first Wet album came out and fell in love with his voice. And obviously the new Wet album is absolutely fantastic. One of the albums of the year. And I love his voice. So the past for me, the history of Jeff Scott Soto, I know he's with Journey and all these bands. I know he's with them, but never really delved into the music. Like I say, sometimes I was running along in the wilderness of shit music for a while. Not shit music, always rock and metal, but maybe not the sort of music I should be listening to, like this sort of stuff. So, the 3 guitarists do an amazing job. You got Tony Dickinson and Edu Cominato, on the drums. These guys, they do an excellent job. In melodic rock, AOR, you just need someone who's really tight, don't you? Who are really great and keep the rhythm so tight, and they do that throughout these songs. And the cool thing about it is there's lots of different styles on this album because of the different projects that Jeff Scott Soto's been, you know, in the past. So they do an excellent job of just keeping it so tight, letting those guitars breathe as well and just perform. Brilliant. So, like I said, it's songs he's recorded in the past projects, and he's re-recorded with an array of brilliant vocalists, a lot of them that I actually love. So that's a cool thing. What he's doing in here is usually swapping verses around. They have a verse each, then they join in on the chorus. Jeff does a lot of cool backing vocals as well, but he lets the other vocalists really have a lot of time on this album. That's cool. That is really cool. Now, this sort of album can sometimes, even with myself, with lots of different vocalists, sometimes it can not click. But man, this really does, because Jeff Scott Soto, whether he's done it on purpose or not, he's chosen the vocalists where even if he's got a different style, they seem to just blend together perfectly. I think the choice of vocalists for each song is absolutely superb. And remember, I've got nothing, I think I've heard one song previously, which I'll get into when I go track by track, where I can compare it to the original. The rest of them are totally fresh for me. So I'm not comparing it. And to tell you the truth, if I had heard all of these songs, I might not even do this review, because I'm not one to, you know, review stuff that I've heard before. I sort of, you know, leave it alone usually. So because this is so new to me and it's fresh, that's why it's getting this review. I'm so glad I'm doing it, because it's an absolutely amazing album. It really is. It's worth every penny of your money, this is. So you get a mix, like I said, of different stuff, because he's going back, looking at all his old projects. So you get some ballads on here, you get some AOR stuff, you get some melodic rock, some hard rock, some even neoclassical stuff. I think I've already mentioned Yngwie Malmsteen, obviously. We've done some stuff with him before. So it's his history, all rolled into one. The first part, obviously, I don't know how many parts it's going to be. This is part 1 of the Duets collection. I'll run through every track, but let me tell you now, I was just amazed at how good these tracks are and the way the two vocalists on each track just mixed perfectly throughout this album. So, track one, kicking off with Living the Life. This is the only one I've heard, apart from I've done some reactions to these songs since, leading up to this album. But before that, this is the only song that I've actually heard from Jeff's past. So it's the Rockstar soundtrack this came off of, and I love that film. I'm sorry, I know a lot of rock and metal fans just think the film is no good. I love the film. It's one of my favourite films. It's absolutely brilliant. Stars Mark Wahlberg, and Jeff done, I think he done the, because what you have the actual original singer before Mark Wahlberg took over as lead singer in the band. He joins the band he loves. He's a fan of this band, and he joins them and becomes the lead vocalist. And I think Jeff does the vocals before he joins, so the original vocalist, but I'm not 100% sure. But Jeff was brilliant on the soundtrack. He's brilliant on this song yet again, Living the Life. And the vocalist that comes to join him on this one is Eric Martinson, one of my favourite musicians from Wet and Eclipse. He's got an amazing voice. Eclipse album's just about to come out. Obviously, he did the album with Jeff Scott Soto this year, the Wet album, which is one of the best albums, I've already said, of the year. The guys switch about brilliant on this. It's a great rocking track. We all know these guys are great together because Eric Martinson does a few vocals sometimes on the Wet project, and they mix it up perfectly. So it's a great track to start with. One of the heaviest songs on the album, obviously. It's a real good rocking track. Brilliant. Next is Don't Let It End. This is from the Yngwie Malmsteen stuff that Jeff did. And he does this with another amazing vocalist, Dino Chalusic of Animal Drive and now Whitesnake, of course. It's a medium to fast-paced song, but I'm probably telling you this and you probably already know because I haven't heard them, remember. So Dino sort of always brings that sort of Dio sound. It's got that sort of aggression and that real sort of classical, strong voice. But again, the two singers, the different styles worked perfectly here. Really cool, heavy track. Of course, being a Malmsteen song as well, the soloing's just mental. And these guys, whoever the free guitar, I know the free guitarist, don't know who did the solo for this, but it's just like that neoclassical, fast, intricate stuff. Does a brilliant job. Great track again. Mysterious is next. I reacted to this one. This was with Eric Martin and Mr. Big. I love this song. It's more of a classic rock sort of tracks. Really soulful. Love the groove in it. Again, they work perfectly, Eric Martin. I wasn't a Mr. Big fan actually way back when. But I think he's got a great voice. I didn't realise it was that good actually because I never really listened to the Mr. Big stuff that much. But these two mix together absolutely brilliantly. Next is Believe in Me. This is off a solo album, and he on this one Nathan James joins him out of Inglorious, and Inglorious has probably brought the album of their career out this year in We Will Ride. I love the album. It's a real grower. It's grown and grown and grown on me. It's definitely going to hit my list of the favourite albums. This is a fun, upbeat track, more like a sort of a summer song. Both singers sort of sound, I'm not saying they're the same sort of singer, but they've got a really smooth approach, especially on this song, and they sound great together. Brilliant track. Next up is Coming Home. I reacted to this one. I think this is a bit of a standout track. This has got Dean Castronova in it from Revolution Saints and now Journey, of course. He's back in Journey, I think. And it's a ballad, and it's just such a great song, man. So it's cool where there's both in Journey as well. They've both been in Journey. Obviously, Jeff never got to record any stuff with Journey, but I heard some live stuff and he done fantastic. And obviously Dean Castronova has been in Journey and sung some songs as well. Behind the drum kit, he's done a brilliant job. I've got to say, Dean Castronova's voice, man, it's just fucking amazing on this song. It definitely still gives me those Lights vibe, the Journey song Lights. It gives me that sort of vibe where it's a ballad, but it never pushes into real heavy rock sort of ballad. It's sort of got a really cool sound all the way through. It's a beautiful ballad that sort of drifts along perfectly. Absolutely brilliant. Definitely a standout track. Next up is I'll Be Waiting. This is a Talisman song. A guy who's joining him called Lirio Neto. He brought an album out this year, and that's good. I've reviewed that on the channel. Another Frontiers project. Great melodic rock track this is. Has an almost like You Give Love a Bad Name sort of riff going through the verses. Lirio Neto has a really strong voice, and again, mixed with Jeff and those smooth vocals, a perfect mix. Calling All Girls is next, from a band called Eyes that Jeff was in. And man, the vocalist he's got on this, he's got Russell Allen. Man, I love Russell Allen. Obviously, another album, Joel Holkstra's 13, that came out this year, Running Games, which is just fucking fantastic. Also hitting my top albums at the moment. Russell Allen's a powerhouse of a vocalist. This is a great sort of, got a slightly bluesy sort of rock track. You can't go wrong here with these two, man. It's another fun sort of summer track. Some great guitar work here. The groove throughout this song, it's amazing. Another brilliant track. Colour My XTC is next, from, it's a Talisman song. And Renan Zonta from Electric Mob, he does this. And he's got another powerful Dio-esque sort of voice, Renan Zonta's got. It's a bit of a funky song, this one. It's really different, driven by a sort of great bass line. A really fun track again. Love the solo again. The guitarists are just doing an amazing job throughout this album. Let's just say that. The song Warriors next. This was an Axel Rudy Pell song. I didn't know Jeff Scott Soto was with Axel Rudy Pell at some point. But what he does, he teams up with Johnny Gioli, who I know was with Axel Rudy Pell, which is a bit of a cool touch. Obviously, Johnny Gioli also with Hardline at the moment. This is a great rocking track with a brilliant bass line throughout. This is classic metal more. Obviously, what you expect from Axel Rudy Pell. Yet Jeff Scott Soto just sounds at home. He has recorded some heavy stuff in the past with other bands as well. So he really knows how to give it some as well, and he does in this. And these two sound great together yet again. Next up could be my favourite track, or definitely one of them, matching really the Coming Home. I've sort of scored these just for myself, and I've given it the same score as Coming Home. It's called Holding On, and it's got BJ from Spectra. Now, Jeff Scott Soto's been involved with the Spectra album. I think he produced it or is managing them. I know that BJ is in Jeff Scott Soto's band, done backing vocals for him and stuff like that. And these two mix perfectly. They've got a similar tone to their voice. They just blend absolutely amazingly. They actually appear together on the Spectre album. I think Jeff Scott Soto does quite a lot of backing vocals, and they sound quite alike sometimes. And this is brilliant. It's a great sort of haunting ballad. I love it. Amazing song, Holding On. And then the last song on the album is Again to Be Found, from Humanimal, another project that Jeff was involved in, obviously. Mats Levin of Candlemass and Trans-Siberian Orchestra appears with Jeff here. So Mats Levin he sort of has a great sort of powerful vocal, really sort of interesting tone, sort of reeks of character really, his voice. Those two are very different style, but again, don't know what Jeff has done some real sort of research to make sure the two vocalists all the time in every song blend perfectly together, because they do in this one. The soloing in this song is outstanding. There's quite a long solo like in the normal place, and then there's some soloing at the end as the song sort of ends, and it's just amazing. It's just an amazing bit of guitar work on this. So all the guys in the band have done a brilliant job. You know, I know it's all about the vocals because it's a duets album, but let's not forget the band in this. They do brilliantly, but Jeff Scott Soto is without a doubt the main man all throughout this, but he's just got some amazing vocalists to go alongside him. And, you know, he matches every single one of them, and there's some powerhouse vocalists here. He just does a brilliant job on here. I'm really happy about how good this album is. Highly recommend it. I'm sure all the Jeff Scott Soto fans are going to love this. Out on October the 8th on Frontiers. Get it. Highly recommended. I'll see you next time.